Hi, welcome back to the New Little Life channel. Today I'm going to dive in a little bit to my story, my credentials, my business, how I work with lactating mothers. I know many of you have been here for a while, but I want you to get to know me a little bit better, especially if you're considering coming and working with us. This would also be a great video to share with a partner who just wanted to get to know me and our business and what we do a little bit better. My business and the way that I serve mothers was really born from my story. So I want to share this with you. One, so you can get to know me, but two, to see if you resonate with this at all. Are you feeling any of these same things that I felt? These are some of the things I wish someone would have told me the first, second, even third time that I went through this as a breastfeeding working mom. So here we go. My name is Allison Tolman. I'm a nurse, a lactation consultant, a breast pump expert, a mom of 3, a military spouse, and so much more, really. So I want to take you back to kind of the beginning of my career so you know how I got to this point and why I'm here working with pumping working moms. So I graduated nursing school in 2009. I'm an LPN, a licensed practical nurse, and I have always worked with pregnant and breastfeeding mothers. I started my career in an OB office, so doing the pregnancy prenatal care. I quickly got my CLC certification, which is kind of a smaller lactation certification, so that I could help with the visits in the office, because I realized really quickly we had a lot of breastfeeding moms coming in, and the physicians, the midwives, they were not trained in breastfeeding even. They had taken like the basics. It was like a 1 day in their medical school, but they were really designed to handle all of the complexities of pregnancy, of surgery, of birth, of all of these things, but they didn't know a lot about breastfeeding. So I quickly got mine. They kind of let me take over those visits and would just come in and like sign off things and prescribe meds when needed. It was really fun. I learned really quickly that I was not a blood and guts ER nurse, but that I really was a nurse who loved education, walking a patient through what was happening in their body, helping them understand and do it themselves. That was really fulfilling for me in my nursing career while I worked there. So after I had my first son in 2014, so 6 years later, I went back to work for a year, and I had worked really, really hard to establish breastfeeding with him, which was not easy. We had tons of problems. Even as someone who was trained in that and had worked with mothers in that, it was really challenging. So we had worked really hard on maternity leave to establish breastfeeding. And then when I got back to work, there wasn't a lot of resources, especially at the time, for understanding pumping, knowing what I was doing. So I was just kind of making it up. I remember being a little worried on maternity leave, but kind of just knowing that I was going to have to just figure it out as I went. I think I really thought it was just going to be like, you just put the pump on and you push go and the milk comes out. Like, it's fine. I already worked so hard getting breastfeeding going. I have a good milk supply. I'll just pump the milk out while I'm at work and it's going to be fine. That could not have been further from the truth. And the more I've been in this field, this is the case for a lot of moms. I actually had a hand-me-down breast pump from a PA that I used to work for, which is a huge no-no. It was even an open system pump. It was the old classic Medela, which again is a no-no. I just used whatever flanges it came with. I never changed my parts, and I had a great schedule. I had my own office. I worked as a school nurse at that time, so I really thought things would just work. Breastfeeding was super important to me, and I was not against formula, and I'm still not against formula. It's a great option. It saves babies' lives. But for me personally, breastfeeding was really important. And I think my partner probably didn't care as much either way. Like, him and I were both formula fed, and like, we're awesome, cool people. It obviously is fine, but for me, it was really important. And I did end up having to supplement with formula in the last several months just because I was not able to pump enough for my baby. I just watched my milk supply go down slowly. I was still able to breastfeed on the nights and weekends and stuff. So it was extremely frustrating to me that the breast pump was the only thing holding me back from meeting these goals. I remember, the daycare lady, I remember the day when she said, "I don't have enough breast milk for the day. What do you want me to do?" I was like, well, I can't get any more out. So I'll send what I have. And then if you can just supplement the rest with formula, I don't really want to know. how much? Just like do what you need to do. Because for me, I think I just kind of rationalized it as like formula's not bad, which it's not. And I just don't, like, out of sight, out of mind. I don't want to know. I'm just going to do the best I can. And you obviously feed my baby and let's just go from there. And it was fine. Like I wasn't overcome with overwhelming anxiety or sadness, but it was frustrating and it was hard and I didn't like it. I think sometimes I was afraid to admit how much I wanted breast milk, how much it was important to me. And so my partner didn't really understand either, because I wasn't really even willing to admit it to myself that I really wanted breast milk. And at the time, there was no help. There was no solutions. Lactation consultants didn't know much about pumping. They still kind of don't, but there was nothing. So I just made it work. I really, really wish there would have been someone there to help me, to guide me, to tell me how to do this better. And that would have made me so much calmer and so much more happy and fulfilled in that experience. I think it would have been more breast milk for my baby too, which would have been great. He's fine now, obviously. Again, this is the hard thing. And I think it's especially hard for partners to understand. Like, formula feeds babies. They grow, they're great. But like, breast milk is the best option for babies. And I knew that. And I wanted it really, really bad. Yeah. It was it was hard. It was hard and frustrating. I started this YouTube channel in 2018 when we moved to Europe for a few years. That's when I really got into exploring breast pumps, after recognizing that I wasn't the only one who struggled with this, and that there was not a lot of objective data and opinions on breast pumps. I could find some user reviews from moms, but to me, it just wasn't enough. With kind of a nursing scientific mind, I wanted more data. I wanted more objectional resources on these breast pumps, and it just didn't exist. You could see what the company was doing, but they're obviously trying to sell their product, right? And then you could see what one mom did, but she's not me. And what works for her, I knew that wasn't necessarily going to work for me. It was just very difficult. So I started buying every breast pump that I could, started making videos on them. I worked with an engineer to develop a device, which you guys actually lovingly named the Boobie Barometer. We did a little contest and someone got to name it, which was fun. But this device allows me to test breast pumps and to have some data to show you, because how do you explain to a mom, a first-time mom who's never pumped, what a breast pump feels like? How is it different than this one? Even if you have pumped before, how does this compare? Not only the specs, like a lot of companies like to tout their suction numbers, but pumping is so much more than a high maximum suction number. I have another video on the channel I'll put for you all about suction and kind of describing some of the metrics that we use and look at. But this was so fun, and this was able to really give me some data and some ways to compare these pumps and to find what's working for another mom and what's not, and what might work best for you. I was also able to get my IBCLC certification while we lived over in Belgium. I also had my third baby over there. It was a lot going on, but I got to work with moms from all the NATO countries, from so many different places, so many different cultures. It was incredible and really opened my eyes to seeing things in a much bigger scale than I had before. You know, within my tiny little experience of having gone back to work and tried to pump myself, to now looking on really a global scale of how this affects moms everywhere. And I realized that we needed a better system, especially for working moms. So I love, breastfeeding, but pumping is really my passion. And lactation consultants, we don't get trained in pumping. Like, I went through their certification back in 2019, 2020. There's nothing on pumping. And the little bit that you can find is often outdated. I found some training. I took every training I could find, honestly. And so much of it is like this isn't even how it works anymore. You're talking about pumps from, 1995. Like, we have so many more options. This isn't even how it works. It was so frustrating. So it's been really fun to dive into this world of pumps and provide education, not only to working moms, but also to lactation professionals. I speak at conferences quite often. I have my own training. It's like an 11-hour training I did with a colleague. It's down below too if you're a professional and want some training on this, because I know you don't get it. And I know you don't know how to help pumping mothers like you do when they're feeding at the breast. That's what we're trained in. I want to see more lactation consultants understanding pumping and being able to help pumping mothers, because I have chosen to work with a very specific group of mothers. One, because I know that I can help them in a really, really big way. Because two, I was there. I know what it feels like. I know what you're trying to do. I know these feelings that you're having. And I know what the other side looks like. I know what it looks like if you don't get help. If you don't meet these goals. I know that your baby will probably be fine, but will you be fine? I want you to understand your body and how it works. I don't want you to have to be guessing on what this is. This worked for another mom. Will it work for me? We're not the same. I want to teach you how to understand pumping in a way that you can figure out what works for your own body. Whether you are feeding at the breast when you're with the baby, pumping at work, whether you're exclusively pumping, whether you are doing a combination, maybe we're also supplementing with formula because your milk supply is low and we're not quite there. Maybe that's the long-term goal for you. Maybe these goals shift for you. I don't really care. I want you to be able to make choices and to meet your goals. What I don't want is for you to be like me, to be stuck in this experience, frustrated and confused and doubting your body, doubting your ability to mother the way you want to. And look, I get it. Formula is not bad, but I want you to have what you want. And if breast milk is important to you, it's important to me that you get it to your baby, And so I've chosen to work with this really specific population because I know what it's like, and I can help you, and I can make this so much easier because I've been there. I've studied these topics, and I'm still going to continue to teach pumping here on the YouTube channel for anyone for free that wants it. I'm still going to be speaking at conferences, training other lactation professionals to be more confident in supporting parents that are pumping. And then this specific population, these moms who are combining breastfeeding and pumping, who are returning to work, who are relying on the breast pump to manage their milk supply, I want to help them in a big way. Another thing I realize about working moms is you guys are very busy, and adding in another appointment, another thing to do into your life is overwhelming. You're already doing so much. So our business and our program actually functions quite a bit different than other lactation consultants who are typically seeing patients one-on-one, either in their home, virtually, or in their office. I actually hired a business coach back in 2022 because I wanted to build a business that was really solid, that was not going anywhere, that was going to help these women in the best, most efficient way possible. Efficiency is my love language, by the way. So I built this program very intentionally because one-on-one consults are difficult for moms to schedule and exhausting for me and a team. And I knew that this was not sustainable. So I decided to create a program that is long-term. So it's a one-time investment up front. And to be honest, it's not a cheap investment. Like, you're paying for a team of lactation consultants for a year plus, 2 years, 3 years. We actually have several moms coming back for their second baby now, which is fun because this program has been live for about 2 years actually at this point. But once you're in our program, we're with you as long as you need. So you never have to make that decision again, which I love. I hate subscriptions because I'm always like every month trying to figure out if it's going well or not, or if to stay in. Like, ugh, I hate it. I want you to be able to relax. When things are going well, you can do your thing. When they're not, you know exactly where to go. This has been my favorite way to work with working moms. One, because it's great for you. It really, really works really well. A lot of it's on your own time. And then you can also meet with us on our weekly Zoom calls with the other working moms, which is awesome. We have a group forum where you can ask us questions anytime. We can answer you the same day. We can just get like little questions answered so quickly. It works so well. I know it's a little bit non-traditional from what a lot of lactation consultants do, but for pumping working moms, I have found this to be extremely effective and very efficient in how it works. I also know that you're going to have more than one question. So sometimes people will ask, well, can't I just get on a one-on-one call with you? I just have a question. I just need help with my flange sizing, or I just need help picking a pump. And the answer is no. And I'll put another video up top that details this more so that you really can understand. But I know you will have more than one question, and I want to be there with you for the whole thing. I don't want to answer your questions on this call and then have you go home and try it and it doesn't work, or the next day you have a new question because something unexpected happened, or now you and your baby are sick and your milk supply is tanking and now you have new questions. I know this is going to happen. And yes, we can get a flange sizing done, but then where do you go? What happens if you see minimal results from that? It's just life happens. I have yet to work with a mother who things went exactly like they thought it was going to. And I know it's not going to be that way. Please trust me in knowing that if you can, be brave enough and take that leap of faith in yourself to get the support that you need, jump in and commit to that program. I want to be here as long as you need. The way we've structured it really, really works, both for you and for me. And it's important to do it that way because, for one, you're busy and you have stuff to do. But two, I want to be here for you for a very long time. I'm not going anywhere. I'm building a company that is going to continue running for a very long time. We have a team that works with us. I'm very intentional with my time and my space because that is the best way to serve you, is to make sure that I am calm and confident in my business and the way I run my life so that you can be calm and confident in what you're doing, which is a time in your life when calm, confidence are not words you're probably used to hearing because new motherhood is crazy. So that's kind of how we work and how we're a little bit different. I'll put some more information down below for you to kind of explore that a little bit more. I want you to be able to thrive in your career and also meet your breastfeeding goals. I want you to have the help that I didn't have. And I want you to be successful. I want you to meet your goals. I want you to look back on this experience with a positive outlook and saying, I did everything I could, and I hired an expert, and I felt supported, and I was surrounded by other working moms who were doing the same thing that I was doing, and I did it. I did that hard work. I put in the money, the time, the effort, and I understand my body, and my body fed my baby, and I really, really want that for you. I can't even tell you how passionate I am about this, but I hope you feel like you know me a little bit better. And in sharing my story, if you felt any of these same feelings, if you're in the middle of it right now, if you're struggling and you've tried everything and your wonderful lactation consultants who are trained in feeding at the breast just can't help you with the pumping part, you're welcome to come and work with me. I've built this program for you. I'm still a working mom. I have 3 boys at the time of filming this. They're 10, 7, and 3, and they're actually on spring break at the moment of this filming, and I just had to put them over at a friend's house to play for a couple hours. I'm still right here in the thick of it with you, and our whole team, it's not just me here. We have other IBCLCs and breast pump experts in the program. We have a lot of resources to help you and make this easier, and we're all working moms. We've all done this. We're all in it right now. So if you want some support, let me know. But if you have any other questions about me personally or what we do or how it works, please comment. We'd love to reach out to you. And if you're struggling and need help, get on a call with us and we'll figure out together if this is a good resource for you. We're not in the business of taking your money, which is why we don't offer online courses to anybody. It's all application based. We want to make sure that we actually have what you need, and we want to make sure that your money and time and effort is being invested in a good place that will actually get you those results. So I would love to talk to you if you want, but yeah, I'll answer any questions in the comments that you have for me below. This was fun. I hope it was helpful to you, and good luck and happy pumping.